6 months ago, we didn't collect wrestling.
Like nothing. Didn't even want to. Made a deal with each other to not let it happen.
And then one day I found a figure.
One figure.
And I thought it was cool.
Didn't see it coming. I died a little on the inside when I said that.
Me too. So 6 months ago, none of this existed in our collection. And then one day, I found a figure.
Like one figure. That's it. That's all it takes to ruin everything.
And I thought it was funny. I thought it was clever. And it was $12.
Whimsical.
And then I found the Chase John Cena from way back in the summer. And I just thought it was funny.
You can't even see him.
And then I bought Stu one.
He did. This one, as a matter of fact. This very figure.
Because I thought he needed it.
What does that say, though? Like, in somebody's life, I thought he needed an invisible John Cena.
Because, it's a fun piece of artwork. Like, it's slightly outrageous.
Right. Looks like he's wearing a Buc-ee's shirt if you're doing it from afar.
Yeah.
Like he's like, yeah, I got a Buc-ee's hat, so he's really into Buc-ee's, and you can't even see him.
But I just, I thought it was funny. And then, a month later, they dropped Fake Diesel.
Oh, dude.
And I was like, if I find Fake Diesel, I'm picking him up. And we actually had to go out of town.
Yes, I was going to say.
And I picked him up in Colombia.
Mm-hmm. We were coming back from a con.
And I just thought the whole time, like, I'm just going to have these two wrestlers because it's funny, ha, ha, ha.
Mm-hmm. No.
And then this happened.
Not even a little bit. Yeah, there was much hunting for Diesel.
Oh, this took me a long time to track down.
Because it was in that shipper that we never got down here. We never got the wrestling shipper, and we never got the Ninja Turtles shipper.
Yep.
In our neck of the woods at Walmart that we ever saw.
And that was back September, October.
Man, and I'll tell you what. So once you found that like tacitly gave us permission to collect wrestling.
I mean, it really did.
And then for me, the slippery slope was Ollie's. Yeah. I don't live too far from on Ollie's, so I was in there one night after work, and they had an Ultimate Rob Van Dam. And I love Rob Van Dam because he's the whole effing show. And at the end of the day, this isn't necessarily my first pick for the Rob Van Dam era in outfit, but this is where he wins the belt. Yeah. And that was a great match, and it's a great figure. So for less than $20, I said,
I think it was $14.99, wasn't it?
I think so. So I said, you're coming home with me. They also had a Brock Lesnar.
Yeah.
This is before he got his tattoo on his chest. So this was like when he first hit WWF, and man, fantastic figure. But one of the heads had like a paint smear on it. So I said, not now, there'll be more. Never again did they have any Ultimates. It was just the superpowers, the superstars, like 1,000,001 Ric Flairs,
yeah.
And then like some Rey Mysterio Juniors in that kind of Batman.
Oh yeah, I remember those.
The
blue ones. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And other than that, not a whole lot going. And that was the end of wrestling at Ollie's, but it was enough to get you hooked.
And it happened so quickly.
Right.
And I don't know what, I was always a huge fan of The Undertaker and Kane.
Of course.
So, I guess I found a Kane,
right.
or I found this, and I found that for,
right.
I found a deal somewhere, and it just kept giving me that, excuse, like, hey, it's cool, man, because that was only $8.
Right.
It was only $11. You know what I mean? So
right.
it just gave me that weird license to kind of run with it, and the next thing you know, I'm buying stuff off Mattel Creations.
Oh man, I completely get it. So for me, it's like wrestling was always a thing that I kind of wanted to collect. I mean, I had some of the Jack Specific stuff way back in the day when I was still in high school, but still a little bit too old to be collecting wrestling figures. And they weren't even that great at the time. They had just kind of gone to sort of that Mattel-esque body at the time from the rubber bendies, and that was just a lot of fun. DX was high at the time, and it was a really good time. It was the Attitude Era, but I I was really a big fan of all the 80s and stuff. So for me, it was like it was superheroes, and it was just another extension of that warping of reality, right?
Yeah.
So that's to me what brought me to it. And
I'm surprised because I never saw it that way. Like for you to even say that now, it's like what? Like what were you thinking about at 8 years old versus where my brain was? Because I never would. This for me was just like what it is, pure entertainment.
Sure.
And I liked, the gimmicks were great. I didn't really know they were gimmicks.
Right.
But it didn't dawn on me that, like, hey, this dentist shouldn't be fighting this gravedigger on a Sunday night. They should be
it was so weird.
ready for work.
It was odd that, on Saturdays, the mortician and the garbage man fought.
But and that stuff never dawned on me as a kid.
And why is there a French model just hanging out? Like, he's not on the run. Like, I never understood that.
I thought, DX, Shawn Michaels, I thought they were all just best friends, just hung out all the time.
High five and
I thought they just like to have fun.
Just having a good time.
But
so wrestling for me when I was 8 is more, your classic guys like over here, your Steiner brothers when they first hit in their jackets. So these are the ones from ringside, the exclusives. Got these around the holidays. I am a little concerned about how, like, the jackets are fantastic. I'm kind of concerned about how those are going to wear over time. So I've just sort of left them on.
Is it like a PVC?
It's
vinyl.
It's like a vinyl covering to simulate the leather from their University of Michigan jackets. Really cool figures. I mean, these are absolutely dope. And like the outfit he comes in is the one with all his numbers all over. There's just a bunch of numbers. And so him and good old Scotty, before he got roided out and crazy. Well, he's probably still roided out. But before he got absolutely crazy and started to believe in his own hype. So these guys, your Bam Bam Bigelow on his first run. Of course, your Macho Man. Like, so these are my guys when I'm a kid. If you're a kid, they're a little more, like they had sort of gone to that more realistic bent.
Well, so me being 8 years old, that, puts me, like, right in the beginning of the Attitude. So, like, your Shawn Michaels, your Bret Harts, Undertaker, Mankind was starting to emerge.
What a great time.
So it was a good time for wrestling, but I also kind of missed out on the heyday of some of the older ones that you're a bigger fan of. Because like when you were kind of watching them, they were already past their prime, if not in the midst of it. But by the time I was a kid, Hogan was.
Oh, Hogan was done.
He was way past his prime. Like, it was crazy.
He's NWO Hogan by that point in time. And
exactly.
And I hate Hogan. Sorry, that's it. Sounds terrible, but it's just he's not technically speaking, not a great wrestler. Now you could say that about a lot of the characters up on this table. But
that's a whole nother debate.
Just when you, but of all the things, of all the stories, I think when you add a lot of them up in the totality, he doesn't seem like the most wholesome guy. No. But again, a lot of these cats not wholesome, and half of these folks are dead. If we were playing a drinking game, we'd be done.
Yeah, we'd all be passed out.
So maybe I'm quick to jump aboard that train because there's a lot of heat for Hogan, but not a great technical wrestler. I mean, at the end of the day,
he got what he deserved at the Rumble.
Yeah, choices are made, and there are repercussions. People gonna cheer their conscience. You know what I'm saying? I mean, at the end of the day, like he basically he'll tell you as much. He saw superstar Billy Graham and is like, I want to be that guy, and so I'm just gonna steal his gimmick. Of course, his tango with drugs and steroids were well documented. But I'm a fan of those old school guys, and I've been watching a lot of it on YouTube. Recently, and so that's where I'm coming from it, and it's just remembering a lot of things that, or actually, I'll say it like this: seeing things that I thought I remembered, and nothing like that.
Nothing like that more.
That didn't happen at all, actually. But it's cool to see like the actual. The way the characters evolved through the time that I was watching it, up to the time that I kind of stopped in college.
Yeah, well, especially because the whole gimmick thing. You lived through the death rattle of the gimmicks. You know what I mean? I kind of missed all that. I mean, I can't even remember the last true gimmicky wrestler they put out there. Because they were kind of past that boat.
Right.
You know, at that
Right.
point, Undertaker was the most gimmicky person on the mat.
Right, yeah, a mortician.
Yeah.
Like there was no reason for that to have worked for as long as it did.
No.
For him to have gotten serious, you know what I'm saying about like the
Exactly.
6-7 years that it took for him to take off the gravedigger attire and just become this like guy right before Biker Taker.
Right before Biker Taker.
I hated Biker Taker. Oh man.
He
so
had
I
his
mean,
moments.
if you're gonna do anything other than classic like First and Purple Taker.
This was a good Ultimate.
This is a great Ultimate Taker right there. Just there's some things I would do differently with the figure. Certain things kind of feel weird about it, and the proportions are a little off. But
I think she's
still
got a
pretty
big
good
head,
figure.
man.
He does have a big head. And,
Sorry, Mark.
And the other head doesn't actually look right on his body unless he's wearing that big.
I mean, you see, like this
outer piece.
This was a ringside collectible exclusive, I believe.
Mm-hmm. And
Under Kane,
if you can put Under Kane next to,
and I'm
Ulta
pretty
Kane,
sure his head
huge
is twice the size as this guy. Look at that.
It's off-putting from
Like
behind.
it's so ridiculous.
But still pretty cool. And that's
Like it's just so long.
like and again, all this happened within 6 months.
It got out of control.
It got out of control. There were so many great deals over the holidays. So that's really how this exploded.
Oh yeah, I forgot Black Friday. That's what
Black Friday was sick.
on ringside, man. That's what really did us in.
Man, their 6-month long Black Friday sale, that was fantastic.
That was
I love
rough.
that. Took advantage of that multiple times. I probably could have done it at once to save on shipping. But,
Right.
It's just, you didn't think you'd go back, and then you kept finding another reason to go back and to go back. And there's a lot of great stuff to look forward to. So, Tom, we're looking back. How about looking forward?
Yeah, there really is a lot of cool stuff. The Ultimate Steve,
Mm-hmm.
the Ultimate Stone Cold Steve Austin. I don't know if that one's worth the 32.
No, because
I like the Elite better.
I think the Elite's going to be kind of cool. So the Elite is, I think, around 2002 is that version.
I believe that's where it's based off.
So he's
of.
got like the gold
Yep.
on the back of his vest. I'd rather have the silver. But again, so I still remember him in 2002. I was watching in 2002, so that's still fine. And when you think of the price point difference, oh, that's great because you still get the jacket or his vest. You still
Exactly.
get that iconic him in his wrestling outfit, well articulated because that's what I don't have yet.
Exactly.
I
Yeah,
don't
you have the 4-pack.
Like, yeah, I
that
got
you
the 4-pack
from,
version that's kind of over there.
Yeah. Oh,
and
yeah,
he's
right.
well articulated, but he's just, he's sculpted in his denim shorts, which is fine.
Really?
And then he's got the removable shirt. So that's a great iconic version of Stone Cold. I can dig it. So that's great to have. But, you want one in his actual wrestling outfit. So that's what I'm going to go for. Because the Ultimate, if anybody had to do it, it was going to be Mick Foley. It was going to be Mankind.
I knew putting him up there was going to haunt me.
Are we asking for the hardcore legend to haunt us? Well, dude, I think it's what are you going to do? Again,
Gravity.
with all that barbed wire, that was just amazing. You can't
pretty
make stuff
good.
up like that. But I think the Ultimate's fine if you want that. It's basically him in his wrestling outfit, but you can put on his denim shorts. That's a little weird. I don't know why that's a bridge too far for me. Like with all of this, no particular reason. It feels weird to put on his denim shorts. So I'll say no, sir. But if that's your cup of tea, go for it. But it looks like that one is easily one of the attitude. Well, I guess that by that time it was ruthless aggression.
Almost ruthless aggression. I think that started was that 02 or 03 that started?
Good, I didn't even realize it was happening at the time. It was
Yeah.
like the Middle Ages. Like they didn't know it was the Middle Ages. I didn't know I was living through ruthless aggression. It was insane.
I think it was 2002, 2003 because I was high school.
Oh yeah. Those were the days, man. I was in college at the time, so that was about when I kind of tuned out.
Yeah.
I developed this small social life, and so there wasn't a lot of time to watch professional wrestling, and I never had cable.
So I wasn't allowed. Dad, I know you're probably watching, but I wasn't allowed to stay up and watch Monday Night Raw.
But he did.
Because it was on from 9 to 11.
Right.
And we did not have a VHS in that room anymore, so I could not record it.
Okay.
So I used to set up a Sony Handycam
Oh, God.
and record Raw
Wow.
through a Handycam and then watch it the next morning before
Wow.
school.
That's insane. Wrestling fans are tenacious and very well known for going out of their way to get that product.
Isn't that
that's
insane?
Awesome.
I totally forgot about that until just now.
That's fantastic, dude. It's like I think that's what all this like goes back to, like this simpler time in our lives, this perceived simplicity, right? And just those times when we were younger, when we just had a lot of fun, and it just taps into all things like that.
And I think this is an extension of like superheroes and comic books.
Yep,
you know,
absolutely
instead of their comics being, you know, their stories being in comics and on paper,
Right.
it's in front of us.
Absolutely.
And it's a continuing story. We get a new issue every week, and I think it's just it's such an easy bridge from superheroes to wrestlers.
Right, absolutely. Like I was saying, that bending of reality, that superhero, that super existence, you know, that ultra realism, you know what I'm saying, taking it to the nth degree. There's something exciting about that. And like you say, every week, you know, to get a new issue, or twice a week if you're following the entire brand. Hell, 3 times a week if you're an NXT kind of junkie.
I think they're pushing for 7 days a week, man.
I think
they've got new shows coming out.
I think if you want to keep it, I mean, that's one way to do it. I think 3 days a week is a lot, to be honest with you. And then, you know, their PLEs, as we used to call them, pay-per-views.
Pay-per-views, yeah.
But, you know, the live events that they do, and now that those are on, you know, Peacock and things like that. So it's easier than ever for you to get these really big events and access to all of their content. So I think it's been a renaissance for us, I think, in that respect. You know, we've been able to go back and look at things through the legit channels and online in various ways to find the missing things.
Now we're even watching the new stuff, you know?
Which is crazy because I think Kevin Owens
took a tumble.
He by God, he's one of my favorite belt holders, even though he's never actually really held this belt. Like and up to a few months ago, he wasn't even on my radar until the December main event that was on Peacock when they brought that back. Saturday night's main event. And him just walking around, like kind of talking to himself in the camera, and like basically like he's just an insane wrestling fan who does other guys' moves. And I mean, everyone does other guys' moves, I know. So you know what I mean there. But he had the belt for whatever reason, and that was totally dope. And so Kevin Owens, you had me at hello.
I still can't figure out who I like for this new crew. You know, I don't.
Are you a Cody Rhodes guy?
I don't know. Like Cody Rhodes is kind of cool, but also like I feel like
freaking Rollins.
Is he this generation's, you know, Hogan and John Cena?
Wow.
You know what I mean?
Hogan, huh?
Well, you know,
he's got a few moves.
Well, no, you know, Hogan had that 70s, 80s gap. You know, and then, you know, I don't, even though maybe The Rock was the carrier for the 90s, or Stone Cold, you know, people think the 90s. And then you move into the John Cena era. But, I mean, look at how, John Cena turned heel on him. They don't pick somebody who's not mega important in the company.
It's a shame that it took that long for something cool like that to happen.
Right. And that was super cool. But they wouldn't have done that with anybody in the company besides Cody Rhodes.
So, you know, we're going to see another real fast, like heel, like just that progression to go down. And I think, like, and eventually that redemption arc is what we're going to see. But, man, it's going to be awesome when the mastermind is finally revealed. Like, you've got your thoughts, and I think we are both in agreement that it is going to be Papa Shango for the win.
I wish.
Papa Shango is going to come back, my friends, and we are going to find out that he is controlling the Rock to get the soul. No, nothing.
What's close to my theory? My theory was the Undertaker was controlling the Rock's soul.
Oh, God.
You know, they were working together as like the new ministry.
I mean, it's his 35th anniversary.
But then, you know, doesn't really explain why the Undertaker did what he did to the Rock at the pay-per-view.
I mean, souls.
He beat him up, you know, saved Cody. Why would he save Cody? Just take his soul. Man, but then he's the Undertaker. Who knows?
He's got mysterious purpose. The Undertaker works in mysterious ways,
does.
and it's not our place to question.
No, but I did see a stat for wrestling.
Go.
That says John Cena has won the title every year he's been eliminated from the Royal Rumble.
Wow.
In second place.
And I don't even know what the title is. Is it the Undisputed? Is it the Forever title? Is it the, God only knows.
That's the Undisputed. That's the one that Cody Rhodes has, right? That's the undisputed.
I don't know.
Because
See,
Gunther
that's
is the world
thing.
heavyweight, right?
See, but that sounds like that.
The-
Shouldn't the world
the belt-
heavyweight title be undisputed? And
The
this
belt
is
that Rick Rude has, right?
well, they started like all, but then it isn't the belt that Rick Rude had because then that one died and it came. And
I'm
this,
almost positive it's the same belt. Is it not? Am I crazy?
Broham, what I'm trying to get here and illustrate, I think what you're doing eloquently is this has changed so many times and they've renamed things and then things went to certain brands and then they didn't have a title on the other brands and they had to make up a title and then so like two belts became one. You know, when two become one, and you know, like, and then you've got like some pay-per-views have certain belts, and then certain brands have certain belts, and then they don't have a belt anymore on the other one, and they had to create it. So you see where this goes. All I know is the Intercontinental strap that my good man Randy has. Mad love for the IC strap. Love me some Winged Eagle, and
Love the Winged Eagle.
even the Big Eagle of the
We're gonna get
late
one of those
90s.
one day. Put it right up here on the wall.
That'd be super cool.
One of these
Super cool.
days.
But after that, it gets really hairy. Like maybe you can. I'll see you the U.S. title. I'll see you a television title. But after that, it's like undisputed, and then like the world undisputed, then the heavyweight undisputed, then the undisputed like best friend champ. I don't know what the hell's going on anymore. So I just watch it for the flashing lights, and then Kevin Owens putting somebody through a table, probably himself.
Probably himself, because he is a little out there.
Oh man, it's nuts.
We're going to take a quick pause here and have a word from our sponsor.
Hi, I'm Stu Morris for the Vincent Needs Arms Foundation. You see, Vincent needs arms. He doesn't have any, and that's why he needs arms. Perhaps you or someone you know has extra Vincent arms. I'm sure there's a few of you out there who have multiple Triple H's from the SummerSlam wave over the summer. If you have extra Vincent arms, will you donate to the Vincent Needs Arms Foundation? Vincent needs arms. Comment below if you can help.
So we've talked a lot about like how this all happened, but we haven't talked about which ones have been your favorites so far. Like the ones that really
Right.
got you wanting to further collect wrestling or just got you even more interested with how they match with storylines or
Right,
timelines
right.
in your life growing up.
Oh man, one that's just perfectly absurd in all of the ways and all the right reasons. The Papa Shango 2-pack.
Papa Shango is a very sweet figure. Though. Like that's super cool.
Really cool. Not a lot of people actually like the gimmick. You say what you will. I thought it was effective. The heat that he had with the Ultimate Warrior, where you can tell if you're up close on it, but that's the one where he's wearing the jacket and he's like leaking on Superstars,
yeah.
like from his brow. It's some black or greenish mystery fluid
Yeah.
that's coming out of like this prosthetic hairpiece that he's got on. It's fantastic. If you haven't seen it, go back and check it out. It's easily available online through legitimate channels and as well as just YouTube and things like that.
Yeah.
Papa Shango, just perfectly absurd. So that really got me interested when I knew that was the thing coming up. But man, I'll tell you what, I've got a couple more that I definitely want to talk about. But how about you? What were the ones that really got you excited to keep going after you dipped your toe in?
I'm trying to remember exactly which one it was. And I know I have one for in store and one for online.
Okay.
That really kept me going.
Right.
But the in store was King Booker.
Oh, King Booker.
Like I bought him and I bought that Ultimate
Right.
Warrior at the same
Right.
time. But this King Booker was like, this is sweet, man. Like I remember this. I remember when he was king.
Right.
You know, this
Absolutely.
is my version of your Macho King.
Exactly.
You know what I
exactly.
mean?
That same insanity. I love
So
it.
like it was really cool. It was crazy. It
Right.
was gimmicky, but I loved it. You know, and then when I realized I was like in deep was the Dudley Boys 2-pack.
Dude, I'm so happy that you got that because I feel like an idiot for missing that. They sold out originally, and then they sold out at Mattel Creations because it was an exclusive there, and then they got it for only a few dollars more at Ringside.
Yep.
And I don't know why I thought I should wait 2 minutes. But I waited like a day and they were gone. That's super cool. I love that set.
It's such a cool set. They come with the ECW tag belts. They come with tables, chair. I think 2 tables, a chair. Bubba's got his do-rag, his Confederate flag do-rag.
That's
you know,
nuts.
but I mean, it's such a great 2-pack. And that's when I was just like, man, And at that point, I didn't even have The Undertaker. Undertaker's my favorite wrestler, and I
Right.
didn't even have any of his figures yet, and I was already committed. You know, so it's just...
And what our first Taker was that
First Taker was actually the gray boots Taker,
Yeah.
and he didn't make the cut. He's not on the
champion.
table.
It was because it was in
It's
the
the main
basic
event.
line.
Yep.
Yeah, and if you collect it, I get it. You know, it's a very affordable line, and if you're just putting them on a shelf, they look pretty good, and I don't think there's anything wrong with that.
All of this was started because of one of those
Right.
$12 figures.
Yeah, this
Johnson,
guy.
$12 figure, you know? And that's... So, I mean, when they're cool, they're cool. I get it. But, you know...
We just like a little more articulation.
Yeah, I need a little bit
perhaps.
of more, you know, hip swivel, chest articulation, whatever it is.
And now we're hip to the way the game is played. The difference between
yes.
an ultimate and an elite is a little bit of time and maybe a couple head sculpts, maybe,
And that's, you know, it was
and some
kinda-
soft goods, and that's about it.
It was pretty funny because, you know, even though, like, I'm just now getting back into collecting, I've collected my whole life.
Sure.
And as have you, but we've had to learn a big lesson with wrestling, like how, you know, consuming wrestling actually should be.
Right.
You know, because we would have bought main events for days and then turn around and bought elites until we realized,
right.
you know, where we really should have been. So there was a little bit of waste, I'd say, in the beginning, trying to
Sure.
figure out exactly the way we wanted to go with stuff.
I've got a Piper from the main event. I bought one because I was just like, I gotta get a Roddy
Yeah.
Piper. And, you know, it's fine. He's got like the painted on hot rod shirt, and it's just your basic. And it was after they went to the more articulation because even main event now has, you know, ball jointed legs, which I think is pretty. I mean, that's got to be standard these days, right?
Yeah.
Like it's the articulation that makes the most sense. I feel it gets the most bang for your buck. Anyway, that's just my little soapbox there. But yeah, so even at that limited price point and in articulation range, they're still pretty cool. There's some good stuff going
And
on.
if I ever find that Chase $1 Million Man,
Oh man,
I will definitely pick that up.
absolutely.
I mean, I spent, what, 6 months straight looking for that thing?
Absolutely.
And I've officially given up
yeah,
the ghost because
I haven't seen it. It's over.
that's 8-9 waves ago.
But
you know?
Toyland,
So unless I find it at a Toy Con or
Toyland.
lose bin somewhere.
Oh, we're going bin diving at Toyland.
Oh, yes, we are.
We've got a master plan. He doesn't know it yet, but we're going to find... The streets are paved with gold at Toylanta. You can find it.
hope.
You just reach up into the trees and you pull the action figures you want at Toylanta.
You think there'll be a lot of wrestling at Toylanta?
It's Atlanta, yes. I think in the South...
That's true. That's very true.
It's a very safe bet that there's going to be some pre-owned wrestling. So I think that's going to be a good place to find some of the big holes that maybe we have in the collections to fill. Because I need $1 Million Man in his regular wrestling attire. I like to pop that off, but at the end of the day, I don't think this suit's going to go on again very well, and I don't want to pay to have another 2-pack. Right? I don't need another Ricky Steamboat.
Yeah.
to,
So with that, well, on that page, you know, do you see like an end game with wrestling? Or is it something you think you can like kind of take time off from and just go back and forth, kind of treat it like you treat G.I. Joe?
Shut up! I don't treat G.I. Joe like anything. You don't wish that on me. Don't put G.I. Joe on me. He made me promise that I wouldn't let him collect wrestling, and I told him all the way up through buying both versions of our boy here. You don't collect wrestling, so no, I wouldn't buy it if I were you. And he bought them, and they're fine. And then flash forward, here we are. Friends don't let friends buy wrestling action figures if they don't mean it. And G.I. Joe is mine. Like, don't let me buy G.I. Joe. And then at the end of last year, he starts, dude, why don't you like, people love G.I. Joe. Why don't you start collecting G.I. Joe? Like, we'll get a lot of hits. So I'm like, you don't put that on me. So we'll see. No, but as far as will I come back? Absolutely. I see there being a point tapering off, maybe relatively soon, where I've checked off an iconic look for most of the characters that I really care about. Like, I could find a Junkyard Dog. Like, that'd be really cool.
Yeah.
Some of the 80s guys, maybe some 70s. And maybe a couple of NWO guys, but dude, I'm gonna have to get 6 Mudas this year. So like, am I done? I don't know, not really. Every time they announce a new wave, and they haven't announced everything so far. Like, we're gonna get another drop in the fall, like, at least.
We got a lot coming.
6 Mudas, like, so you get your basic, like, 80s Muda, 80s, early 90s, red versus black. I want the black because I really like that look for great Muda. But I'm going to have to get both. Then he's got his Superstars figure. Those were Ultimates, by the way, so that's $60 right there.
$60.
Then both of his Superstars, again, the black versus the red.
Well, to be fair, it's probably full price on the Chase, and then we'll wait on the other one because it'll hit. That's something we also learned pretty heavy on wrestling.
Wait for
some things can wait.
Right, absolutely.
And they go on sale often.
They do, and so that's kind of what we were talking about when we had to relearn all this. But the last one is the Elite. Muda's getting 3 separate releases.
I mean, good for him.
I love it. Like, I'm glad he signed that contract that they got him on. Apparently, they got him on that Legends deal, it looks like. But that's going to be super cool. In his NWO face paint.
That was really good.
And NWO pants. And then a Chase version where he still has the NWO shirt you can put on him. But it's just regular Muda face paint and more chaotic images on his pants and stuff. So that's really cool. So just like that, I'll see things. How about you? I mean, you're more of an attitude through,
but I mean, clearly I'm a sucker
aggression.
because I've got, 1, 2, 3, 4 Undertakers.
Right.
I got Under Kane. Kane. They're the same figure, except he came with these really cool ring accessories that go on the post.
Yeah, they do.
So
you kind of have to get a ring once you get.
Yeah, once you get these, the ring is necessary.
Let's see if this is going to balance or fall off.
They're really cool.
That's dope. I mean, it's so much fun, and then he also has the part that you can put on something because the whole point was like
the Inferno match.
That was
so the thing.
Cool.
Like it was the Inferno match that him and Undertaker had, and so I have like specific figures already.
Right.
I just hope I don't continue down this path of allowing them to get me.
Right. Every time there's an epic match, you've got to get that figure.
Yeah, because I remember, we all remember these guys, and that's why we have them, because DX invaded Nitro.
Oh, and that was so much fun.
And they released the Army outfit. So of course we're going to buy that. You know what I mean? That is iconic wrestling. Late 90s,
and then even with the Outlaws not being in those, like I would love to have gotten those. We weren't into it at the time, but if I had gotten into it, like I definitely would have. But like those are iconic looks. I feel enough for them. Hell, I think that is pretty much the exact same look of the Road Dogg of the figure that I had back when I was a kid.
Yeah.
Back in high school. I mean, that was just super dope. And so they've come a long way. And there's still a long way for them to go. So, I'm going to keep going as long as there's something cool to buy.
And like this Booker, once again, I have King Booker. Do I need another Booker?
Yeah, absolutely.
But do I need a Booker and Stevie?
You need a G.I. Bro version.
You know what I mean? Like
everyone hated G.I. Bro. I like him and Sergeant Stash. Are you kidding me? Major Disaster. What? Dude,
we're about to be 3, 4 Scott Halls deep here soon.
I'm holding off on the. I thought I was going to get the purple one, the purple Elite.
The green Ultimate looks.
That green Ultimate's going to be pretty dope, and it's pretty much like this figure, but just an entirely different color scheme. But it's pretty much got the same accessories, the chains and all that stuff, and the vest. It just says Razor instead of Outsiders. So that's a really cool. And that's the thing. It's really easy for them to do these types of repaints. So absolutely. I'll never be done as long as there's another Nature Boy out there in a different colored robe, or a Chase that could possibly that's really cool aesthetic to have on the shelf.
Yeah, I agree.
But I think tapering off is definitely going to happen naturally within the next few months, because there's a lot of good stuff to come. Like there's another DDP with basically him in his tights. I think it's got that DDP shirt.
Yeah,
the one that you see in many of the images. But I think I think there's a bright future for it. I just I'm going to be a lot more selective, because I think there's a lot of good stuff. So at least with Mattel their stuff being made in Vietnam, maybe we'll skirt some of that tariff action.
I hope so.
Is kind of where I'm going with that, and hopefully their figure quality control will kind of increase a little bit as time goes by. But I'm having fun with it. I'm enjoying
it's been a
things
blast.
so far.
It's been a real blast. Just real life superheroes, man. That's the best part.
It's as close as we're ever going to get, and I really dig it, man. It's just a lot of fun.
Yeah. Well, we hope you guys enjoyed talking wrestling with us today. If you have anything that you guys want to talk about, any other fun lines, whatever it is, drop a comment below. Let us know what you want us to talk about.
It's all about you guys having a good time with us. It's Toy Talk, about what you want to talk about, but we want to talk about.
Exactly. I mean, between the two of us, I'm sure we've got plenty for us to talk about for a while.
Well, guys, thanks for hanging out with us. We appreciate you just sitting around and talking toys with us. Wrestling action figures, so much fun.
Yeah, it's been a blast. And if there's anything you guys want to talk about, let us know in the comments. Between the two of us and our collection, I'm sure we could find something else to talk about.
Absolutely. So, like, subscribe, and do us a favor. Help Vincent out. Send this to a friend. Only you can cure armlessness. Be safe, guys. We'll catch you on the next one.